Hi guys, Wheelie here. If you love multicolored granny squares and you don't like starting your rounds with a chain that stands in for your first stitch, you're going to love the standing double crochet as much as I do. This stitch isn't only useful in granny squares. Have a play around with it and try it out in other projects. I most often use the standing stitches for in the round style projects, from blanket borders to eternity scarves and gloves. But I love the standing double crochet for granny squares. So let's have a look at these two. If you're like me, a little bit picky, you'll see quite a difference between them. They're both two round cluster granny squares. The one on the right is a normal granny square, and the one on the left is a little bit special. So I haven't made this one deliberately terrible. I've just worked it in the way I always used to make granny squares. When I brought in the new colour for round 2, I attached my yarn by sort of slip stitching it to the place I wanted to work, and then I chained 3 to stand in for my first stitch. When I finished the round, I slip stitched, chained 1 and tightened it, and I wove in the tail. It's quite a nice little square. But let's get picky. I don't like the way that chain 3 looks. If I worked more rounds with a chain 3 for a stitch, it'd get more obvious, and it could even create a sort of seam up the square. And you can see where I joined the new colour yarn on. And finally, I don't like the slip stitch join or the lump at the top created by the chain 1. Now this square was already a bit special before I got to the second round. I made the first round to demonstrate the invisible join. And if you don't already know it, that's a technique you might like to learn. I'll put the link in the description box for you. I love the invisible join as much as I love standing stitches, and they're techniques that work really well together, particularly for multicolored granny squares. Are you able to work out where I began or ended the second round? There isn't an obvious spot where I joined my new colour yarn on because the standing double crochet joined my yarn on, and it looks just like a normal double crochet, so there's no mismatched stitch. I'll give you a look at the back too so you can see I'm not hiding anything messy back here. There's not much to see. So this is the spot I worked my first stitch. If you know what to look for, you can just see the standing double crochet there. So now you've seen how good it can look, let me show you how to work the stitch. I'm going to work my standing double crochet into this granny square. Begin by putting a slip knot on your hook. Tighten up the knot, but make sure the loop on your hook is neither super tight nor overly loose, because this little loop is going to form the top of the stitch. Start by yarning over on your hook, just like this. Pop your finger on that to hold it in place. You'll find as you get comfortable with the stitch you won't need to hold it, but it's helpful when you're starting. Have your work right side facing you and insert your hook where you want to make your stitch. I'm going to be working into this chain space corner, but you could work into the top of a stitch. So insert your hook, and I have 2 loops on my hook, and I'm holding them in place with my finger and keeping that knot positioned to the right. Now yarn over and pull up a loop. There are 3 loops on my hook now. At this point, I use the middle finger on my left hand to hold the tail in place, which creates some tension and makes it easy for me to yarn over and pull through 2 of the loops. I've got 2 loops on my hook, and now I yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. And that, my friends, is the standing double crochet. You now have a stitch that looks like a double crochet. It has a little V at the top, the classic crochet stitch top. The only difference is the tiny little knot from the slip knot, but when you've worked stitches around it, that is hardly noticeable. And if you were to finish this round with an invisible join, hint hint, watch the video, when you weave your tail in, you can pull the knot right around to the back of your work so it is completely hidden. But even if you're going on to work more rounds in this colour, when you weave the tail in, you can pull that knot out of sight quite successfully. If you found the video helpful, give me a like and I'll see you next time. Bye!